Hi, it's Cassie. I am doing my first video, so um, you guys are all probably really familiar with Laura. She is our host. So she's out majority of the time, I would say. Yeah, I would say majority of the time. Actually, it's kind of turning into backwards where right now we're out a lot more than Laura is. Um, Yeah, I would definitely say Laura is not out or forward or fronting or there's so many different terms for that. But I guess what I'm saying is that more often than not, there is another alter present instead of Laura. But typically Laura's the one that is hanging out the most. Um, So I'm Cassie. I'm one of the alters. Like I said, y'all are probably really familiar with Laura because she does. It's funny. I was supposed to start this channel. It was like my idea to start a YouTube channel, and it kind of turned into just the way things were working out. Laura was doing like a lot and a lot of the videos. Which bless her heart, she's done all the editing and like spoofings and making sure everything gets uploaded and everything. Anyways, I am one of the others, I guess you would call us. We just consider ourselves a big family, so I just consider myself part of the family. I don't really look at myself as like I understand technically I'm an alter, but I look at myself more like Laura's sister or her cousin 3 times removed. So I guess I'll just talk a little bit about myself because this is my first video, which is really funny because it was kind of my idea to do YouTube channel in the first place. So my name's Cassie, obviously. I did not make up my own name. That's something I get asked online a lot is how we came up with our names. So some of us get our names just like we're here and we have a name, and that's just our name, and that's just what everyone's always called us, so it's always what our name has always been. Some of us have picked our own names. I know, I'm trying to think of somebody. I can't think of anyone that you guys have personally met yet, but Holly picked her own name. Don't ask me why. Um, I don't know. You'll have to ask her why she decided to be Holly specifically and not like a Cassie or a Joan or Michelangelo. But anyway, so I didn't actually pick my own name. I came around when the host, well, Laura's not even, when the body was about 4 or 5, I think, roughly. Was when I came about, and I actually was an age slider for a really long time, so I changed how old I was. So, like, obviously, you couldn't have a 4 or 5 year old acting like she was 16, so I, like, could, change my age. I mean, when the body was 4 or 5, I was about 7 or 8, just because it served the purpose to be a little older, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of how things worked out. But then, like, after she hit about 10, I kind of hit 16 and stayed there because Laura was already a relatively mature individual, especially for her age, so it kind of just had us. It made it so we blended really well, where she could go from being her to like like Laura would be here, and I keep going off camera, I'm really sorry guys, but Laura would be here and then I would kind of blend in and come forward and no one would really pick up the differences for a really long time. So I'm actually just 16 right now. I have not aged in 11 years, I think. I don't know, guys. I'd have to do my math. The body was 10 the last time I aged up, and at that time I had aged up from being 13 to 16. Um, I just felt like being 13 was really childish, and it didn't feel like me. But 16 felt like me, so I aged up. And that was when the body was 10, and they're 21 now, so yeah, I think 11 years. So I think I've been technically 16 for 11 years. So I don't think that's gonna change anytime soon unless something calls for me to be older than I am. Let's see. So that's kind of my start in the system that we have. That kind of covers all the background info we get asked a lot online. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we are everywhere online. I mean, we are everywhere. It's kind of absurd. Like, I'm kind of awestruck by how much she is somehow managing to keep a grasp on online. Actually, she's kind of slacked off this week. And please, everyone, just give her a little bit of a pass this week. She's had so much on her plate and so much going on in her head. She's doing everything she can to keep up on all her internet stuff. But yeah, we are everywhere online, guys. We are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, obviously, we are on YouTube, we're on WordPress, we are on Chatsy, we are on Kick, we are on Twitter, we're going to be on Pinterest, so literally, guys, everywhere. But so a lot of the background questions that we get asked online that kind of just covered. Oh shit, I wasn't supposed to show you guys that. My bad. I had an itch on my shoulder. Maybe she'll edit it out. Maybe not. I don't know. So a little bit about me. Fun fact, I'm what they call a creator, which makes things super fun in my world. It gets kind of busy a lot because I get a lot of requests. But so basically, at least within our system, the creators in our inner world, they're people who can build stuff and create stuff. So, like, for example, a couple years ago, the kids or the littles, the younger elders, whatever you want to call them, they had no real place that they could go to kind of get away when stuff inside got crazy. So I built them a playhouse. And it seems silly now that I'm saying it, and I don't think it was honestly that big of a deal. But I just kind of built them an entire house that was completely safe and protected and appropriate for them, with toys and coloring books and TV rooms and video game rooms and board game rooms. And I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so of course all the rooms were divided up into their categories. But I build stuff. It's kind of basically what a creator does, is we create stuff within the inner world. Just recently, we also, myself and a couple of the other creators, because I could not do it by myself, I just didn't have the skill and whatnot to completely do it alone, but we have almost put the finishing touches on a communication room, or a meeting room. People call it different things. Sorry guys, I am really distracted by how much her one eye is drooping. It is really droopy. I should have her check that out. Anyways, so a community room or meeting room where we can all kind of get together. It'll also help us kind of give Laura a shout out of like, yo, you need to know this. If like she needs to know something right away, she can do it. We can get that info to her quickly, and vice versa. So yeah, I make stuff, and we're pretty limitless on what we can make, depending on our skill, of course. But as far as the inner world goes, there's no limit there. I mean, we have everything from meadows and horse pastures to like inner city blocks. So we really run the gambit. So that's kind of cool, I guess. Um, I really function as Laura a lot. There are, I would say, hmm, I would say there are 2 to 3 other alters that function as Laura. And in that sense, we mean we are very fluid. It takes a lot for somebody to pick up the differences between like Laura and who we really are. So I am one of them. I have always been very fluid with Laura. I think I always will, unless she suddenly changes drastically and whatnot. So basically, that means when Laura switches or dissociates and one of us comes forward, but it's a situation in which Laura is needed to be present but can't be, um, myself or one of the other ones that come forward and function as Laura or whatever, they'll come forward. So, like, say, I don't know, we're somewhere and Laura needs to be present, or at least appear to be present, I would come forward, and someone might notice a really subtle shift, but they're not gonna question whether I'm who I say I am, and I will quite often function as Laura. So, very rarely is it that I'm forward and I actually announce who I am. So there have been times with our therapist that, which is really bad because we totally have a contract with her, um, but sometimes that contract needs to be broken a little bit. So like there's been times with our therapist where she's addressed me as Laura and I don't correct her. I don't say, hey, actually, it's Cassie, which is really, I'm kind of embarrassed about that because we made a contract a really long time ago that I would let her know that if any time it wasn't Laura, I would let her know who she's talking to. But sometimes, like I said, contracts need to be fudged a little bit, and whatnot. But, or like there's been times with Tim where, which is her hubby, we have not, like, I will be forward through most of the day because, like, right now, no, it's been me most of the time. Surprise! Laura's been having an insanely hard time. Like, she's barely functioning. And I don't mean that as a put down, it's just how things are right now, and whatnot. So, I come forward, I play Laura for a little bit, I get her shopping done, her agenda done, her schedule done, her appointments made, her appointments gone to if necessary. Ooh, you can see my computer. And whatnot, and talk to Tim, try and I mess up sometimes. I don't always respond exactly like she would, but I do my best. I know her pretty well, so it's not as challenging, but sometimes I'm like, I don't really know what Laura would say to that, and I have to guess, and then if anyone like questions it, we usually just brush it off as being tired or distracted or whatever. So I front a lot, as well as clone. We have someone who's identical to Laura. You would not have a stinking clue it wasn't her as long as you didn't ask clone too many personal questions, um, or ask her anything really about the system, because clone is relatively new. We just actually kind of poofed her up a couple months ago, so um, anyways, so that's a little bit about me. I'm 16. I'm a creator. I'm one of the authors. Um, I function as Laura a lot. I do her makeup a lot. I don't really know who did this makeup, but it's not half bad. They're I don't know. Everybody on her little chatsy thing says her eyebrows are really good, but like she has fine eyebrows. I don't know why she filled them in. Anyways, so I do her makeup a lot. I get her dressed a lot. I do her hair a lot. She lives with constant chronic pain. And I'm kind of pain insensitive. I'm not as lucky as some of the other ones that don't feel any pain, because we have some that physically cannot feel the sensation of pain, which is a good thing and a bad thing depending on how you see it. I'm just not one of those ones, but I'm really pain insensitive, so it takes an extreme amount of pain to really bother me. So I will get her dressed, makeup, showered, hair done, whatever, because it kills her back and not mine because I can't feel it. But anyways, I hope that's okay for my first video, guys. I'm looking at time here and I've rambled, so I'm just gonna let it go for right now. But I hope you all have a lovely night, and yeah, it's like 11 o'clock when I'm doing this. Shit. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later.